right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Gates, CEO at Compology. And today I'm really excited to talk to you about how we can comply with the new SB 1383 regulations related to contamination reduction and waste characterization. I have been working with the state of California on this policy and have seen the impact that government regulation can have on driving innovation in our industry. It's something that I've been very excited about and passionate to work on. So I'm excited to share that with you here today. So to set the frame for this conversation, I want to point out some specific places in 1383 that really pertain to container contamination minimization. So the context for why Compology is relevant is that a generator shall not place prohibited items into collection containers. A jurisdiction shall monitor those containers to minimize prohibited container contaminants. And this all needs to be done with route reviews, meaning some kind of visual inspection. But what's particularly interesting is that the new regulations call out specifically that cameras are a way to comply with these regulations. On top of that, there's all kinds of record keeping requirements kind of throughout the policy in general. All of the stuff that we're now being required to do needs to be documented and kept electronically. So how do we streamline all of that? So I want to dig in and tell you a little bit more about Compology and how waste metering can be used for 1383 compliance. Let's start with how waste metering works. The way our system operates is that we take pictures on the inside of dumpsters 3 to 5 times per day. So you get a view of that container as it fills up over time. Then we use artificial intelligence to automatically process those images to determine the contamination levels, the fullness of the container by volume, and when service occurs. We then take all of that information and package it in a way where education can be sent directly to the waste generators via text or email so that they can take action to drive real change in contamination reduction and cost savings. It all starts with our cameras inside the dumpsters. This is the 13th generation of our camera. It mounts in less than 10 minutes per container using a couple security screws. Each device is connected through LTE connection and has a 5-year battery life. These things are extremely durable, made out of steel, polycarbonate, which is the same material they make bulletproof glass out of, and have all the same specifications as military-grade equipment. To give you a little bit of flavor on the types of items that we can identify in containers automatically, we have 6 different categories that we can identify with 98% accuracy. Some of the categories here range from garbage bags to bulky items, tanglers, styrofoam, e-waste, and construction yard debris. This list is continuously evolving and growing. Compology's primary customer base to date has been large consumer brands with real estate portfolios that span United States, Canada, and Mexico. We have over 1,300 brands that we work with and 162,000 dumpsters that we're monitoring. Here are just a select few logos that range from quick service restaurants, retailers, manufacturers, office parks, corporate campuses, and everything in between. Increasingly, we've been working with municipal, county, and state governments on helping to achieve some of their sustainability and cost savings goals. This map here shows some of the states in which we have deployments. There are a couple here in California, and then many others on the East Coast. And this list is growing every day. I'd like to take a moment and talk a little bit more specifically about some of the municipal deployments that we've done to date that might be most relevant here in California. So we started with a proof of concept case study that was a partnership between Compology, the SBWMA, and Recology was our hauling partner and a great partner in this, where we were looking to demonstrate the efficacy of cameras as a dumpster monitoring technology. And we installed in 132 commercial front load containers across 12 different San Francisco Bay Area cities. The result, I think, is really well summarized by Joe LaMariana, who is the executive director of Rethink Waste, when he said that there's a limit to how many containers can be visited by Recology staff. So if you're doing lid flipping manually, and that monitoring is a great method for potential enforcement to supplement the staff that you already have. This was written up in a full case study. SBWMA wrote about these recommendations in a public report, which are linked here. And this really led to our second deployment here in California, which was much bigger in scale and involved a couple other parties. So this second deployment was really the vision of the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, Alameda County Waste Management Authority, Livermore Sanitation, and Diversion Strategies coming together and saying, how can we demonstrate the efficacy of dumpster monitoring technology to comply with SB 1383 regulations that we knew were coming down the pipeline? So in partnership, we deployed in commercial organic containers all throughout Livermore, California. Over a 6-month period, we demonstrated an 80% reduction in contamination in those containers and a 20% cost reduction for performing those services. So we have a great case study that we've written up there, which is accessible for everybody to read publicly. We continuously get the question, how does Compology pay for itself? In contamination reduction specifically, that is the goal of 1383, but I think a lot of us are asking ourselves, how are we going to pay for compliance with these new regulations? Across all the 162,000 dumpsters that we monitor, the average fullness at collection when we start working with a customer is 46% full. We have the ability to understand the fill rates and patterns of those commercial containers, and we've developed a process that we call continuous right sizing, which consistently delivers 30 to 40% cost reduction across a portfolio of containers. Some of our big consumer-facing brands have had really nice return on investment stories. One that I would like to point to is McDonald's, who saves $3,321 per dumpster per year, which is the equivalent of a 14 times ROI annually. In fact, CNN picked up on some of the work that we were doing with McDonald's and featured us in a piece on nationwide television. But we've seen consistently strong results across other segments, such as Capital One in the retail segment, Google's corporate campus when it comes to office, and ADT when it comes to warehousing. In thinking through how to comply with 1383 regulations, I know there's a lot of different options out there, and we probably want to try different things before choosing what we're going to implement at scale. I'm really excited to offer a partnership opportunity between Compology and Diversion Strategies to pilot the Compology technology. So what we've designed is a program where you can get 10 Compology dumpster cameras, 6 months of all of the software that you need in order to trial the contamination identification, fullness monitoring, and service verification functionality, installation and maintenance of the system. And then I think what's really unique here is being able to lean on Diversion Strategies for consultations around how to implement a technology like Compology, how it complies with your processes and compliance requirements, and the economic assessment required in order to make the case for rolling the technology at large scale. This is all wrapped into a one-time flat fee of $5,000. So if you'd like to learn more about Compology, how we are offering pilot programs, or how we can help reduce contamination at large scale, please feel free to reach out to me at jason@compology.com, and we'd be happy to discuss it with you. Thank you.